I think the mistake a lot of the media journalists are making when they check the INEC website and that what they see there is the David Mark-led group. I think what you should do is actually look deeper. If you go to the INEC website and check all the states and all the different state chapters and see who the chairmen are in those state chapters, those are the chairmen who are with me, and those are the chairmen who conducted the convention. We held our congresses last week, and those people we merged during our congresses for the new state chairman. INEC has uploaded them as the valid state chairman of the party, because the court order that came about 2-3 weeks ago was very, very clear that the party is rightly vested in the state chairman. The court order also made clear that only the state chairman could conduct congresses and a convention, which is what we did yesterday. INEC, in having David Mark and co. on their portal, is just because of the other case that is going on concerning the Nafiu Bala faction and David Mark faction. And because INEC had made the mistake ab initio to say because of the court order, they removed them. So when there was a court order that says you don't have to do that, they then put them there. But there's a court order that makes clear that the state chairman should conduct congresses, which is what they've done. They should conduct a convention, which is what they've done. In the event that after the convention that we've conducted, because they heeded to our congresses and they uploaded those we emerged. So after this convention, if INEC does not then upload those who we emerged on their portal, then we will go to court and get the INEC chairman charged for contempt of court. It's very simple.
Mr. Kachikwu, so that will lead the people right. What did the court expressly say the chairman should conduct congresses, or the court recognize their leadership until the expiration of their tenure, given what was an agreement as far as this is concerned, so that we lead the people right? Because I know that you had filed a suit that was dismissed. That was the initial one. And then those gentlemen, I think about 7 of them out of 36, correct me if I'm wrong, had approached the courts that their tenure had not expired, and they made a case before the court. The court agreed with them, and then they were reinstated. But the argument is to the fact that when was their tenure supposed to elapse? And if I understand that judgment of what I read, is to the fact that until a valid convention is organized in that nature. So what exactly did the court say? So we don't say what the court did not say. Forward it to us, because there's nowhere in law that I know that state chairman will conduct primaries. It's a NEC decision, Mr. Kachikwu. It's a NEC decision.
As we speak, I have just sent the court order to you guys as we speak. So
okay,
that,
I'm sure my producer will get it to us.
We are all very clear. The order of the court is very clear.
This is strange to me. So I want to learn from you, from your party. Which provision of your party constitution says that it is national state chairman, not NEC, that we're used to, that will put together, or in NWC? So give me the provision so that I can check it and confirm with the people here. We're used to NWC, NEC agreeing to having a convention.
You asked about the court judgment afforded to you, but I also want to read read that court judgment for you, okay? One of the declarations is a declaration that the purported appointment of the Congress committee members of the body described as the Ketika Interim National Working Committee or any variant thereof, not being the State Executive Committee constituted in accordance with the First Defendant's Constitution, is unconstitutional, null, and void. An order nullifying the appointment of the Congress committee members for the first defendant by the body described as the Ketika Interim National Ketika Working Committee. An order restraining the 7 defendants INEC from recognizing or attending the Congress or any event organized by the body described as Ketika Interim National Ketika Working Committee purportedly appointed for the first defendant. An order restraining the 7 defendants, its officers, agents, privies, assigned, successors in title, representatives, and all persons claiming true under it from acknowledging, accepting, recognizing, giving effect to, or in any manner whatsoever validating the word local government and word Congress of the defendant, except that organized and conducted by the 1st to 7th.
Are you reading to us?
In other words, it means that, in other words, this means that everything you see going on in state chapters, like what you refer to as the Guba primaries in Rivers State or the different states and every single thing, is null and void in the face of the law. You understand?
So are you reading to us the outcome? Are you reading to us the outcome of the court verdict affirming your state chairman as the chairman of the ADC? That's what you're reading to us,
yes,
sir?
Not only yes, which is what I've sent to you guys. I'm also reading the declarations, the orders made by the judge concerning congresses, concerning the convention. That's what I'm reading to you guys, so that we are all clear about what is playing out in the ADC.
All right.
So that you all understand why INEC had no choice but to upload our congresses that have been conducted so far. That's why I said that if you want to look beyond...
okay, but Mr. Kachikwu, are you also aware of the, I believe, Court of Appeal judgment setting aside the court judgment that led to the status quo antebellum crisis, which in turn led INEC to now recognize the David Mark group temporarily, pending when the case is determined at the Supreme Court level? I'm asking this to ask why you are not waiting for the determination of that before nullifying before setting aside the David Mark-led group, before nullifying their leadership. Because that's, besides adopting you as a presidential candidate yesterday, that's what your group also did.
I think you're missing the point. There are two different court cases here. One court case is the court case of Nafiu Bala saying that Ralph Nwosu couldn't have handed over the party to the Mark-led group, and he challenged that and is in court with the Mark-led group on that issue. Our court case is a court case that simply says, we have two court cases. One court case is a case that says Ralph Nwosu was never chairman of the party, as at the time he tried to hand over the party to these people. The second court case is a case that challenged the powers of these people to conduct a convention and conduct congresses on behalf of the party. And that is the judgment I've read to you from on that court case, where the judge held that only the state chairmen of the party who are validly recognized could conduct congresses and convention on behalf of the party. As we speak today, that judgment has not been overturned. They tried to set it aside. The Court of Appeal, that case is holding sometime this week to hear the matter. The court did not agree to set aside the judgment. They said they're going to hear the merits of the matter, and that's ongoing. So as we speak, INEC had no choice but to recognize the congresses that we have held and uphold our state chairmen. So if you check the INEC portal across the states, you'll see that all the state chairmen you saw yesterday are the ones who are on the INEC portal. And after our convention now, like I said, we then convey what emerged from our convention to INEC. And INEC, if INEC does not then recognize it also, then INEC will be in contempt of court and will hold them as such.
So I'm trying to look through this court ruling very quickly. Did this court ruling in any way nullify the David Mark-led leadership of the ADC? Did it order that they stop parading themselves as national executives of the party?
Okay, now let me make this clear to you. David Mark-led leadership is a body just in the eyes of the media. As far as the ADC is concerned as a party, we don't know the David Mark-led leadership. You understand? So I think it's important you guys inform the public accordingly. People came and just said that they are the ADC and they're taking over the ADC. It's just like me coming today and saying I own Channels Television. And even though Arise, AIT, and all the other media stations report that I own Channels Television, doesn't mean that I own Channels Television. If I go to court and claim that I own Channels Television, and the court says the court is hearing the matter, adjudicating on the matter, and it goes all the way to Supreme Court back and forth, does it mean I own Channels Television because we're in court? And the court has said maintain status quo, antebellum, whatever it is. Does it mean I own Channels Television? Absolutely not. And you guys keep on misinforming the public when you guys don't understand the nuances of the law or what's going on.
Mr. Kachikwu,
I want to read Order 9.
Just hold on. So there's nobody misinforming anybody. There's nobody.
The questions.
You're also mixing things up. Just hold on, Mr. Kachikwu, hold on, so that we're clear. They went to court. There was an incident between Nephew Gombe and, of course, David Mark, and that issue has to do with leadership. What you're doing is even prejudice, because that's the case. The substantive issue of originating summon is still in court. It's not been determined. In fact, it's been adjourned Senate diet because of the gentleman wanted a change in the judge. There was injunctive relief.
You are saying something totally...
No. I am trying to put... because the way you're going, you may mislead the public. So let me put it correctly. You're saying just hold on. Just hold on, sir. You are the one saying the media...
If you understand what I'm...
No, hold on, Mr.
If you understand what I'm saying, then you won't come with this counter.
If you understand what I'm saying, you are saying that we are the ones recognizing. No, even INEC recognizes David Mark. That's what I wanted to put to you. That INEC recognizes David Mark Group by their own portal. That case, an interlocutory appeal based on injunctive order, a non-injunctive, I went all the way to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court referred the case back to the trial and say, go and show cause why those injunctive relief should not be sought, should not be granted. As a matter of fact, let this case be heard faster, accelerated hearing. So to an extent, Nephew Gombe and David Mark are in court, and the court will decide which is the leadership. That does not invalidate what has played out in the court as far as those 7 gentlemen who went to court saying, these people cannot come and run congresses because we're supposed to be the ones who run congresses for ourselves. That's what actually that judgment is, about running Congress, until a valid Congress is held and a valid national convention is held. Those were the language of the court.
Can you read out the language of the court so it's clear so that our listeners know and they are not misinformed? The 9th order is very clear. Let me read the 9th order for you so we're clear on this. The 9th order says, an order of perpetual injunction restraining the first to 6 defendants, their agents, privies or assigns, successors in title, representatives and all persons claiming through under them from organizing state congress or any congress or convoke national convention for the first defendant.
And indeed, Mr. Kachikwu, that doesn't state that the first to 6 defendants have been told not to, well, the first now, maybe being the ADC group, from parading themselves as officers of the party. I've been looking through the orders, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing that says so. And that's why I'm asking you, is there anything in this order, is there anything in this order that says that the David Mark group should stop parading themselves as officials of the party? Because if it doesn't, then what you are doing, your group is doing, may be sub judice, because the leadership issues have not been resolved.
Well, I think, like, I don't think you and I are reading the same order. If an order clearly tells them to stop parading themselves or not appoint people to run, to conduct congresses on behalf of the state chairman, on behalf of the party, what does that order imply?
Stop conducting congresses is different from stop parading yourselves as officers of the party right now.
Well, the issue, there are 2 court cases ongoing. There's, like we just said, there's a Nephew Bala case that is ongoing, and there's this case that's ongoing. The state chairman went and challenged INEC and these people concerning the affairs of the party, and the judgment is very clear. It stopped them from arrogating themselves onto themselves powers to conduct the affairs of the party, such as congresses or convention. And I also said, which is something I've noticed, I've said it 3 times now, and you guys kept quiet about it. I said, you mentioned that these gentlemen are the ones that you see on the INEC portal, but I also said to you, but if you check throughout the INEC portal and all the state chapters of the party, that these same state chairmen are the people you'll find there. I also said to you that the congresses we have held last week, that INEC was there, conducted the congress, and they have uploaded the results of our state of the congresses You've not said anything. So when you are seeing the signs showing clearly that INEC recognizes the court order and is obeying the court order, you ignore that and you keep on pushing to me.
But Mr. Kachikwu, if INEC was recognizing the order 100%, it would recognize Abdul Kadir Bashir, who's your new national chairman of your group, as the national chairman of the ADC. But the convention just happened
the convention just happened a few hours ago.
And then why not wait for the process? Why not wait for the processes to run through before the adoption of you as the presidential candidate and before the dissolution of the David Mark-led group?
Okay, let me ask you what might appear to be a stupid question. I said earlier, if I came and paraded myself as the owner of Channels Television and we are now in court, do you shut down INEC? Do you shut down Channels Television and don't come to work until the case runs through its course in court? There you go.
Oh, is that a question? Okay.
They're not the same, Mr. Kachikwu.
They're exactly the same thing. Come on, don't say they're not the same. I said people came into our party and said that they own the party and they're the leadership of the party and they are being challenged in court and the court process is taking its course. So you are saying to me because the court process is taking.
Mr. Kachikwu, I think the point. Hang
on.
Just hold on. You've been talking because of time. You made your point. Just hold on.
Can I land and make my point?
Okay, 10 seconds so that I can bring my next question so that we have the time to engage you more.
Sure. So I said so. The same thing has happened here. People are claiming to be the leaders of the party is being challenged in court. And the same thing I'm saying, if I claim to be owner of Channels and it's being challenged in court, does it mean that Channels will not operate anymore because of the court case? Of course not. So we know how the courts work, and it does not stop. It does not stop life from going on. It's that simple.
So, Mr. Kachikwu, I think the point you may be missing, and let's make the point before I ask you my next question, is the judgment that supported those gentlemen who went to court is a valid judgment. The judgment that went all the way to the Supreme Court is also a valid judgment. And so, let's be clear on that. Because what you're saying is
what does the Supreme Court judgment say? So that I keep on saying this. We don't want to misinform the public. The Supreme Court judgment says go to the lower court and dispatch that case in the lower court. And the lower court has not made any order. And so that case is in the lower court. So when you are speaking, you make it appear that a case in lower court has been adjudicated and there's an order.
That's what I'm saying. No. You're missing the point. I'm saying they have to go and show cause. The substantive issue has not even been heard. I'm saying that there is a case in court that has to do with leadership. There is also a judgment that you're relying on. There is also from a court that is also valid. That is why we have all this conundrum within your party. So I wanted to put the record straight so that everybody understands.
What is clear to all is that there's a case in court and that has not been heard. But the case in court that has been heard and there's a judgment. And that is the only subsisting judgment. And that is what everyone has got to rely on right now. And that is what
all right, let's move on. Let's move on to I'm trying to be careful not to jump into issues that are before the court. But we needed to pause it so that everybody who has watched has seen that there are conundrum of cases, judgments, cases to be heard and all of that, so that it's clear where everybody stands. But talk to us about why the speed with which your convention that your group organized is saying that you're now the sole candidate of the party.
So the question is, why the speed?
Yes.
I don't understand. What's the speed there? The David Mark-led faction of the party, are they not organizing a convention today? Are they not having their primaries today? What's the difference? 24 hours. What do you mean by speed? I don't get your question.
So yours was a primaries that was organized. Is that what I'm saying? Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear on what played out yesterday. Yes.
For the presidential primaries and convention go hand in hand, and that is what happened yesterday.
Okay, so you held a convention yesterday and a presidential primaries yesterday. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. What more did you? Okay, you used the consensus method. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that, Bukola.
So you say it's your state chairmen that are recognized and everyone is running with this judgment. Am I correct, borrowing your words?
That's correct, yes.
But what about the other 7 state chairmen that abstained and said they were not part of the Congress?
The 7 state chairmen who abstained from the Congress, what that means is that where Congresses were held and they did not hold Congresses in their states, it means that their tenure is now over and it means that their seats are vacant.
So then that means that I'm not quite sure whether their seats are vacant, whether their tenure has expired. I'll have to check that. But that means that not everyone is then running with your own convention, your new convention, and your adoption as the presidential candidate of the party, or the adoption of Abdul Qadir Bashir as national chairman of the party. It means that that division still subsists.
As you have always reported, there's a division within our party. But when you say you have 7 people out of 37 absent, that means we have a clear majority who are in support of our actions and what's going on in the party.
The long and short of this is that Atiku is in trouble. That's the long and short of it. First, some of you may have seen the news break. If you have not, well, let's break it to you. INEC has appealed the judgment that was given in favor of Youth Party that nullified its 2027 election timetable. INEC has appealed it. 2, the executives of the Youth Party have come out to say they did not file that suit on behalf of the Youth Party. So if that suit was between Youth Party and INEC, and the executives of Youth Party are coming out now to say they did not file it, in fact, they are saying that they are going to file for setting aside that judgment, then it means that it might become an orphaned judgment, which may not be implementable. But let's just focus on the fact that INEC has appealed that judgment, which means the timetable of INEC for the 2027 election, as previously presented, may be still valid, which puts ADC in a tightrope. Not necessarily the whole of ADC as we see it now, but Atiku and David Mark. I may be wrong, but from the venom with which these TV anchors were speaking, something makes me suspect that they are partisan. And it is important that we know this because these are the big TV stations. These are the people that command a lot of viewership. So when they engage to show either their stupidity, their folly, their dumbness, or their partisanship, and push narratives as though they are informing the public, what happens is they end up actually misinforming the public. No wonder so many Nigerians are not properly informed on these issues. Now let's set the record straight. The case of Nafiu Bala Gombe versus David Mark is a totally different case from the case of the 7 state chairmen and David Mark. Totally different. The case of Nafiu Bala Gombe is the one that went to Court of Appeal, where Court of Appeal gave the status quo ante bellum that INEC relied on to de-recognize David Mark. That case went on to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, Court of Appeal, you are right, but you're also wrong. You are right in saying that they should go back to the Federal High Court and face that trial, but you are wrong in issuing status quo ante bellum. So remove the status quo antebellum. It was based on that removal of the status quo antebellum that INEC now recognized the David Mark-led leadership. But that case is still in the Federal High Court. In fact, it has been adjourned sine die because Nafiu Balagumbe applied that the judge should recuse himself and so the case was adjourned sine die. Now that case is totally different from this one that has been concluded by Justice Joyce Abdul Malik, the one between the 7 state chairmen of ADC and David Mark. Now, the judgment is simple, like we've read many times by Dumebi Kachikwu, even though the anchors would appear to quickly interrupt, and disturb the chances of the public getting the real message. But the message is clear. The judgment stated that whatever congresses and conventions that the David Mark-led leadership conducted, even while Peter Obi was still in ADC, those congresses and conventions are null and void. Now, it went on to state that the tenures of the state chairmen had not elapsed. Then he went on to state that it is the state chairmen as surviving members of the NEC that are empowered to conduct congresses. You all know. If you don't know, okay, maybe I'll just put it out there. Once the state chairmen conduct their congresses, in fact, you start from the ward. The ward will conduct theirs, the local government will conduct theirs, then state chairman will conduct theirs. All the officers that are thrown up from such congresses are the ones that will proceed to conduct the national convention, because it is the officers from the state congresses that will form the NEC alongside the NWC to do what? To conduct national convention. So, if the judgment of Justice Joyce Abdul Malik stated that it is the state chairman that should conduct Congress, after the state chairmen conduct such congresses, what next? The natural order will now be, okay, they will proceed to conduct convention. It is that convention now that they have conducted. But where there will be a problem is if the state chairman invited INEC, if the state chairman gave the required 21 days notice for their congresses and their convention. That is where there will be a problem. But if that condition is met, the 21 days notice, whatever convention they hold is valid. And if they so choose to conduct a primaries within that convention to adopt a consensus presidential candidate, it is valid and it stands. These are the things that Nigerians need to understand about the political processes vis-a-vis the legal processes in Nigeria. Unfortunately, sometimes some of these mainstream media, they are not doing a thorough job. I don't think an Arise TV will make this kind of mistake. I don't think so. But what do I know? I'm just an average Nigerian doing my thing. At the end of the day, what we want in 2027 is free and fair election. And the only way to achieve it is vote watch and the PU Marshal, polling unit Marshal. If you're a Nigerian that wants free and fair election, there's a link in the description, www.votewatch.pro. Click on it, sign up, and volunteer to be a PU Marshal. Also, you can donate so that you can help fund our campaign, massive awareness campaign across grassroots, across social media, and across even mainstream media. It will not be cheap, but we trust that with your support, we can execute it so that we can have free and fair elections, an election that reflects the will of the people. not the will of godfathers. The danger that democracy in Nigeria faces is from godfathers. More godfathers are springing up by the day. More governors are making themselves into godfather. Already we have a godfather template established by Tinubu, and Wike has taken it a notch further. Others are coming to take it even further. So if we want a democracy that will survive, that will deliver good governance to the people, if we want a democracy where there's equal opportunity for all, then we have to deal with godfatherism or godfather dictatorship, or as Rufai Hosseini will put it, Baba Sokpe-cracy or Baba Sokpe politics. We have to deal with it head on. We have to crush it completely. Because as long as politicians believe or perceive that it is only godfathers that can bring them into office or return them back into office, they will be loyal to godfathers. And that means the state resources, the federal resources, the local government resources, everything will be going to the godfathers. Is that not the problem, the bone of contention between Wike and Fubara? That's what it will mean. And as long as godfatherism exists and thrives in Nigeria, bad governance will be the result. So if we want the dividends of democracy, we want good governance, we want to really end bad governance, what do we need to do? We need to stop godfatherism. And to do that, we need to make sure that there is free and fair election, so that politicians will see that it is truly the people that can elect them into office or bring them back. That way their loyalty will shift away from godfathers to the people. That way they will now begin to do things that will satisfy and make the people happy. And the only way to deal with godfatherism, to ensure free and fair election, is vote watch right now. If there is any other way in Nigeria, let me know. I will contribute and support it. But right now, the only way to guarantee free and fair elections in Nigeria right now, is vote watch and the polling unit marshal. So I encourage you, check the link in the description, www.votewatch.pro. You can visit it using any browser of your choice, Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Safari, even Phoenix browser, any browser of your choice. And you can access it on any device, your mobile devices, whether iOS or it is Android. You can access it on your laptop, on your desktop. Just visit the site, sign up, volunteer, contribute your little quota, and let us make 2027 election unriggable, so that it can truly reflect the will of the people. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.